So welcome to the Market Mentors podcast, Emily.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Absolute pleasure to have you. So before we get stuck into this one, I'd love to know what your relationship is with content marketing.
Yeah, so I've been in content marketing now for about 8 years, which is crazy, since 2015. I kind of fell into it. I was really interested in blogging when I first graduated college, and I created my own blog. And I actually found a job that would let me create a blog for them. So that was kind of my first step into content marketing. And ever since then, it's just really grown. And I've done a lot of different things over the years, and it's been a very fun ride.
I can imagine content marketing's changed a lot in 8 years.
It has, yeah.
So in the early part of your career, I think you sort of describe yourself as a traditional content marketer. What does being a traditional content marketer mean to you?
Yeah, so I think, like you said, it has really changed over the years. But when you think of content marketing, you think of blogs, you think of some social media like Facebook and Twitter, you think of website copy, just those basic things that come with content marketing. And that's really where I started. So I was a traditional content marketer for so long, but because everything is evolving, I've branched out into different types of content marketing while still holding on to that traditional blogging background.
Great stuff. And we're here to talk about how B2B content marketers can elevate their impact through product marketing. Where did you sort of start to get involved in product marketing then?
Yeah, so a few years ago, I was working at a competitive intelligence company called Crayon. And when I first started there, it was just me and the CMO. And so we were doing everything from the website to the emails to social media. Product marketing fell under that. Luckily, at the time, my boss was really managing a lot of that. But as the years went on, I became more and more interested in product marketing because that's who we were selling to at Crayon. So my day-to-day was interacting with product marketers and marketing to product marketers. And all marketers love marketing to other marketers because it's so easy. You speak the same language and you really know what they're looking for. So through that, I really became interested in product marketing, and I got more involved in product launches and creating more content for bottom of the funnel and doing all that fun stuff. So yeah, it started a few years ago, and then it kind of carried me through to working at Crayon for 3 years, working at ZoomInfo on the product team, and then now I'm at Evernote also on the product marketing team.
Awesome. And do you think the trigger for getting involved in more of the product marketing was the fact that then you were working for a smaller business? The two of you, you've got to be multidisciplined. There's no sort of hiding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you really have to do a little bit of everything when you're at a startup. So the opportunity presented itself, and I was like, yeah, of course, I'd love to learn more about product marketing and sales enablement and, of course, competitive intelligence, which is a huge part of product marketing. And I learned all of that over my time at Crayon.
Awesome. And right now, Evernote then, where does your role sit within the sort of overall marketing org then?
Yeah, so I'm on the marketing team, but I technically fall under product marketing. So there's myself, my manager, we've got a new social media manager, and we've got our community marketing manager. So we all work really closely together, but I'm also directly on the product marketing team, which is a little funky. It's kind of like I'm on two separate teams, but we all work really closely together. So the product marketing org rolls up into marketing. And content marketing kind of sits under product marketing, if that makes sense.
It does. I mean, a lot of the companies we tend to recruit for have the two functions reasonably separate. And even in the smaller companies, they'll tend to hire a product marketer, then a content marketer, then a demand gen person, et cetera, et cetera. But there always tends to be a bit of an overlap between product marketing and content marketing. And within Evernote then, I mean, where does a product marketer's role end then, and yours start then when it comes to content?
Yeah, so we work really closely together, primarily on go-to-market product launches and different product initiatives. So when we have a really big GTM, we're involved from the beginning. So we work really closely with the product marketers, the product team, customer success, anyone who needs to be involved with that launch. And when it comes to content, we like to create a lot of different things on a lot of different mediums. So we'll have those brainstorming meetings with the product marketer in there. So they really get their say from the beginning. And then we send our creative team to do all of the fun stuff, create the graphics, create the videos. We'll write the blog posts with them. And then we still maintain working really closely with the product marketer to make sure that everything is as they want it to be or as they need it to be before we ship it out to the market. So we work really closely together in tandem on a lot of projects, and we make sure that there's a lot of communication between marketing and product marketing.
Perfect. And you've touched on a few of the things earlier then, but from your perspective, and to give people an idea, or content marketers an idea of what they could be doing if they were more involved in product marketing then, what sort of things are you doing now that as a more traditional, we talked about earlier, content marketer, you weren't doing them?
Yeah, so now it's a little bit different. I will say when I was at ZoomInfo, I was doing a lot of bottom of the funnel content. So traditionally, content marketing is at top of the funnel. You're doing blog posts, you're working on SEO, you're working on social media, just driving traffic, getting the general interest. But what I was doing at ZoomInfo was more bottom of the funnel. So working on sales enablement materials such as pitch decks or one-pagers, or helping with website copy for sales pages and different things like that. So that's a little bit different from what I would traditionally do. And it's a little bit different from what I'm even doing now at Evernote. Now I focus a lot on the fun content, I'll call it, because you get to be more creative than you do with sales decks and all that kind of stuff. They are fun. I will say it's fun to create a slide deck, but creating TikToks is a little bit more exciting. So now when I'm creating content for product marketers or with product marketers, I'm really focused more on different types of social media, creating videos, creating interactive content, blog posts, but not so much just product announcements, but making it really engaging and interesting for a potential buyer. And so it's definitely more of that traditional stuff, but with more fun mediums thrown in.
Awesome. From your perspective then, I mean, now that you've done a little bit more on the product marketing side, or the product marketing end of content marketing, why is that sort of helped sort of elevate your impact, and why could it help somebody else elevate their impact within the company?
Yeah, of course. So I think it's important to fully understand product and product marketing as a content marketer, because there are different elements of content that come from product and that will be seen to the market. So the product team creating the product, you really need to understand what goes into the product and why they're building the things that they are, which kind of feeds back from content marketing, because you are interacting with your market and getting a better understanding of what they need and what they're asking for, which you can then communicate to product and product marketing. And so you have the product, you've got product marketing, which is translating all that technical stuff into what you actually need. Then you've got the content team, who's kind of making it more fun and exciting and really grabbing people in. But if you're just focusing on that creative part, you're not going to understand the technical part, and there's going to be some missing pieces when you're sending something out to the market. So I think it's really important to have this product marketing background or experience when you are a content marketer, just to get that well-rounded understanding of what you're putting out into the market. And then you can iterate on that. You can learn more. You can better understand your customers or your prospects, and you can create more engaging content that's going to reach a wider audience and really benefit the business. So there's a lot of moving parts, but there's a lot of benefit for you at the end of the day as a content marketer.
Yeah, because I mean, the content marketer, the better they understand the audience, the better the content is typically going to be. So if you've got ownership of that yourself, then you would argue that your understanding is going to be better. And do you find it sort of, you have better conversations internally then, perhaps more strategic conversations at a higher level then as well, because your understanding of the audience, the market, the competitors, the positioning, the value prop and all that kind of stuff, you just get that so much better.
Yeah, definitely. So you definitely have a stronger understanding of all of that when you when you do have those more in-depth conversations with your prospects, with your customers, with your product marketing team, with the product team, and when you really have a full understanding of everything, you can create content that you couldn't create 6 months ago when you were just thinking about keywords or what people are talking about on social media. Like, you really get deeper when you think about, okay, what is my competitor creating on TikTok, or what are the blog posts that they're sending out, or how often are they sending their newsletter, or what feature are they shipping? And you can get a better understanding of all of that by having those great conversations with product marketing and product, and just involving yourself in the conversations. If there's certain meetings happening at your company, like the product marketing team gets together once a month, like, join in. There's no harm in that. You can listen, you can learn, you can engage in the conversation. And at the end of the day, it will help you become a better content marketer.
Great stuff. And you've given one idea then. Let's just jump into meetings with product marketers and
Yeah.
sort of, get your elbows out and get stuck in there. So that's one way of sort of moving that way. But, if you're, I'm sure we'll have content marketers listening to this podcast. What advice would you give them for getting more involved in product marketing internally then?
Yeah, internally, I would, again, definitely just say jumping in there. Talking to your sales team can also be really helpful to get a little bit more experience on the sales enablement side. So if you're trying to understand what sales needs to know about the product, or what questions prospects are asking about your product, that can help you when you're creating new content to either get new people in the door or to really help push a sale over the edge. So you can get involved with sales, you can get involved with product or product marketing, and then you can just ask product marketing about how their launches are going, or what they need more of, or what content would really help as you prepare for a launch. I think a lot of people think about, okay, we've got this GTM, we need this piece of content for the launch, but what do you need before that? How do you get people excited for this launch that's coming around the corner? And I think those conversations are ongoing. So just having check-ins with your product marketing team, with your product team, even with your customer success team. I think product marketing lives all across the organization. It touches everyone. And so just being fully involved in every team can really help you learn more about the product and what can benefit you as a content marketer.
Perfect. And have you done any of the courses that you can take? I know the product marketing, I'm trying to think what it's called now. Is it Product Marketing Institute now?
Product Marketing Alliance. Product Marketing Alliance. Yes.
Yeah.
I love PMA. I was actually on their podcast a while back. I've done some guest writing for them. They've got a great program. They have a lot of different certifications. They've got basic ones, they've got special ones in like competitive intelligence. And I think Marcus Andrews has one in narrative design. Like, there's a whole bunch of good ones. So Product Marketing Alliance is really good. I haven't taken any of the courses yet, but I definitely will. There's also another organization called Sharebird, which is really awesome. You can do AMAs with product marketing leaders, and they've got a good job board. And I don't think they have courses yet, but they've got a lot of really good resources. So those organizations are really, really beneficial if you're trying to learn more. And then, of course, listening to podcasts. So I know that wasn't your initial question, but that has helped me aside from courses.
Yeah.
Who is it? Clue. They're a competitive intelligence company, but they've got a lot of podcasts. I think Crayon, my old company, they've got a podcast now too. So just jumping into courses and message boards and podcasts, that is really helpful as well.
Great stuff. On the flip side then, what about for businesses? I mean, a lot of businesses don't tend to hire a product marketer. I mean, we're seeing more of it right now, but they'll tend to hire perhaps demand and content before they would hire a product marketer. What value, and I think we touched on a couple of things already, but what value do you think a business can get from perhaps moving their content marketer a little bit more into product marketing then, over having just somebody focus on a sort of traditional content role?
Yeah, I think honestly, you need both a content marketer and a product marketer. I think there is a lot of overlap, but product marketing is so robust. Like, you can't have your product marketer just creating white papers and ebooks and also supporting the product. And content marketers are not always, I guess, fluent in product marketing world. So I think there is benefit to hiring someone that crosses over, but in an ideal world, I would say hire both, and probably hire a product marketer first, because you can't really sell a product to the market if you don't have a clear narrative, if you don't know what story your product is trying to sell, if you don't know the benefits. Like, you really need that product marketing expertise in there first. And because product marketers are such great storytellers, they can double as your content marketer while you are waiting to really scale that content team. So,
I think it's great advice. It's you don't see it very often, though. You don't see it, and you're not the first person to have said this on the podcast. We had Vakis Rigas on a while ago. So he's ex-head of product marketing at Typeform. And he said exactly the same thing. You know, to start off with, your product marketer can help with a lot of the bits and bobs, because actually they're quite broad. They're not necessarily a specialist, but they'll be able to help with the go-to-market, the story, the positioning, the value prop, and, you know, do some sort of demand gen stuff, and then start to build some specialist roles off the back of it. So you're not the first person to have said this. Unfortunately, for a lot of companies, it does tend to be the other way around. They tend to think of hiring a product marketer. Once they get to a certain size, they seem to think that, well, now we need a product marketing function. Whereas I agree with you, it needs to be something sort of put in at the start, really. From a career perspective, then, I mean, how beneficial do you think it is? You know, you've obviously experienced this. I mean, how beneficial is it for content marketers to have more experience in the product marketing side?
I think it's extremely beneficial. I think that for me personally, my career really started to take off once I had more expertise in product marketing, because it's a very hot market right now. Product marketers are popping up everywhere. And while I am still a content marketer through and through, having that product marketing expertise has really helped me along the way, because I can create a more strategic, a more well-rounded, I guess, editorial calendar when I'm figuring out what kind of content to create. It's not just, okay, I have to create these blog posts or I have to get these Twitter messages out there. It's more understanding the market, understanding my competitors, figuring out where our audience is, understanding how our product can help certain people, and trying to get a full understanding of what pieces of content will help at every stage of the funnel. And I think without the product marketing background, I wouldn't be able to fully grasp everything that content marketing today is encompassing. And like I mentioned, all of the courses that are out there, all of the message boards or websites, they really help if you can't get product marketing expertise in your job. But I was lucky because I did get a little bit of product marketing experience early on in my career, but it really does help create a stronger content marketing strategy.
And do you see many people from your experience moving from content marketing into product marketing roles then?
Yes. I've seen a lot of people move from content into product marketing, from demand gen also into product marketing, because again, demand gen is a role where you're doing a lot of different things and it can translate really well into a product. I think a lot of people across all teams in organizations that I've worked with are actually moving into product marketing because, like I said, product marketing lives in every area of your organization. So if you are really passionate about bringing your product to the market and helping people solve a problem, and you love challenges and you love telling stories and you love connecting with people, product marketing does all of those things. And so I've seen a lot of people, even from customer success, move into product marketing, and they've absolutely loved it. And they're still in product marketing today. So they are doing really well.
Awesome. So switching things slightly then, I mean, from your side, what's the one piece of content you're proud of delivering that's moved the needle for a company then?
Yeah, so I know we've been talking a lot about product and product marketing, but this has nothing to do with product or product marketing. I've been at Evernote now for about 6 months, and one campaign that we worked on in May was for Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we did a really robust content campaign. We built a web page, we built a new template for Evernote. We have a template library. You can download them. It's already filled out and you can take your notes that way. So I actually partnered with Talkspace, the mental health company, and we built a daily journaling template, and our users have loved it. And so that's been really wonderful. And I got to work with some really awesome influencers and put out a lot of awesome content on social, both organically and then from those influencers. And we just created a lot of really fun content for that campaign, and it got a lot of people talking about Evernote, and it got a lot of people not only informed about Mental Health Awareness Month, but also about what Evernote offers to employees, which is amazing mental health benefits. And then we got more people using Evernote, which is really cool. So that was my first really big project at Evernote, and I think it's definitely something I'm very proud of.
Awesome. Well, mental health is a really important issue at the moment, isn't it? So it must
It
be
is.
great actually being in a B2B tech business, which is unrelated to that, but still been able to do some good around that. So that
Yeah.
sounds fantastic. Final question then. We've got you here as a content marketer. If you were
Yes.
hiring a content marketer, I'm sure you've hired a few in the past, what sort of skills and attributes would you look for?
Yeah, so obviously, got to be a great writer, because if you're not, don't know what you're doing in content marketing. So you got to be a great writer. I'd love to have someone who's analytical. I think that that's often an overlooked skill in content marketing, but you need to be able to measure what you're doing. So analytical, creativity, that's a big one. And then selfishly, someone who has some product marketing chops, because that's really going to help you, especially if you have a little bit of competitive intelligence background. That can really help as well. And so I think those are the top 4 or 5 things that I would look for in a content marketer.
Perfect. It's been fascinating talking to you, Emily. It's really interesting hearing you talk about how a content marketer's role is evolving. I mean, B2B marketing is a multifaceted discipline these days. So you need to wear many different hats. And it's really been interesting hearing about how you've elevated your career and impact within the organizations by making that shift. And I really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure.